Hi, this is Eric Franklin, and we are here to talk about the heart. And as you know, I'm about to release an online course on the heart, and I wanted to talk to you about it. We all know our heart is super important to us, and without our heart, obviously, we would not have the same emotional setup and the same emotional build. And a lot of us can be concerned about our heart. You know, heart health is one of the main concerns we have in our life. And yes, so for whoever is joining at the moment, my name is Eric Franklin, and we're talking about the heart. I'm about to release, actually I already have released, my new course on the heart. And the big question is, why do an online course on an organ? Well, should be pretty obvious. The heart is one of the most important structures we have in our body. If it doesn't function, then obviously we're not going to last. And it's very important for our emotional state. It's very important for our ability, you know, to have endurance, to have strength, and so forth. And I was always, you know, kind of fascinated by the fact that people are very concerned about their heart, but if you ask them, you know, well, can you tell me, you know, where is your heart located? How does it move? What does a heartbeat look like? What happens with your heart when you move your torso? Most people have no clue. So think about it. It's an organ that's only about, you know, 8 ounces, 10 ounces in weight, but it beats over 100,000 times a day. Of course, if you're working out, you know, it could be more. That's over 40 million heartbeats a year. And so you have this organ that is doing so much for you, constantly, you know, contracting, pumping the blood through your whole system like that, making you feel as good as you do, and you have no clue about it. And it's all about, oh, do I eat healthy for the heart? And that's, of course, important. And do I work out properly like that? But the heart itself is not a felt experience for most people, except, of course, if they're, you know, super excited, let's say, or they have heartburn, or that's when they think they're experiencing their heart, or if they have heart issues. So in this course, we're going to take a positive look at the heart and make us aware of the heart and enjoy the heart also as a dynamic, active organ when we move. So I happen to have a nice heart model here to show you. Now this is larger than the actual size, but it's kind of helpful because we can see the structures quite well. So we see all these valves and tubes up here. Actually, on one level, you can think the heart is suspended from all these vessels. And below, right here, is the diaphragm. So the heart actually sits on the diaphragm, and that means your heart is going to be moving with every breath. So breathing is your heart's constant experience of moving down and moving up. So when you inhale, the heart is going to go down. It's even going to rotate like this a little bit. When you exhale, it's going to come back up. And that's actually going to be our first heart experience. 20,000 times a day about, your heart is being moved downward and upward by your breath. So let's take our hand, right hand, put it here on the sternum, right there, behind your sternum, and more on the left. That's where your heart is located. I have the picture here for you. So this is the sternum there, this is the xiphoid process, here we have the ribs, and the heart is located approximately between the 2nd, 5th, 6th rib right through there levels, and the diaphragm, of course, would be underneath here. So I have a picture right there, and you can see how the heart sits on the diaphragm, and that's a little metaphor, if you like those, of the heart. So we have our hand here, and when you inhale, your heart is going to go down. But what a lot of people don't know, because of the shape and movement of the diaphragm, your heart is also going to rotate a little bit as you inhale. So as you inhale, your heart is going to rotate down like this a little bit, and as you exhale, back up. So everyone do this movement if you're watching. So feel your heart go down as you inhale, and back up. And down again, and back up. So for those of you who are just joining in, we are feeling the movement of the heart as we're breathing. So the heart gets stretched and moved and massaged about 20,000 times a day by your breath. Now, isn't that cool? And what we were saying is that a lot of people are concerned about their heart is emotionally important and all that. But you ask them, okay, did you experience your heart moving today? You might say, oh, well, I felt a few heartbeats like that. Okay, what happens during a heartbeat? Usually no clue. So you have this organ that, beats over 100,000 times a day, over 40 million times a year. So an event that is like major in your life, and most people have no connection to it directly like that, except maybe concern or did I exercise today for my heart? Kind of fascinating. Most people, if you ask them, well, what is happening with your heart when you're doing, spinal rotation or flexion? No idea. So in the Franken method, we're big fans of focusing, firstly, when we want to improve our health, on the things we do most of the time. And one of them, of course, is breathing 20,000 times a day, but your heart beats over 100,000 times a day. So that's a major event, during your day. So, you could ask someone, so how was your day today? And they said, yeah, today I had some really good experiences with my heart. It was moving down, moving up, being stretched and gyrated by my movement. So we are imagining how the heart moves down as we inhale and back up as we exhale, and it does a little bit of a rotation. In fact, if you want to be more precise, it also does a little bit of a spiral motion, and of course all this will be explained in great detail in the online course, which by the way you can register for any time right now, and I think we even get a rebate like $25 off. So the heart goes down and spirals. I'm going to show you this on the heart itself. So when you inhale, the heart is going to go down, but it's also going to rotate like that, and it's going to have a little bit of a spiral like this, right through there. So as you're breathing, your heart is doing that, and of course this is a piece of plastic. So in reality, your heart is actually attached for developmental reasons. It's actually attached to your spine in back. So there's ligaments that literally connect the sac around your heart, the pericardium, to your spine, also cervical spine, and to your sternum. You're in front, and of course the heart is attached to the diaphragm. So your heart is in this sac that's relatively loose, so it can keep moving. I like to think of it sort of like a three-dimensional sleeping bag that's suspended from your spine and your sternum and attached down here to your diaphragm, which of course means that the sac gets stretched when you breathe, because the diaphragm is going down, and you don't like, when you inhale, you don't like take your whole upper body down. So you're getting a little bit of a stretch here, which is really good for your heart. So breathing, deep, full breathing, actually supports the pumping of your blood, because you think of it, your heart is like, hollow, pretty much. And of course, if you stretch something that's hollow, it kind of acts like a syringe. It helps it like fill. So if you breathe well, if you breathe consciously, if you breathe fully, you're really supporting your heart. And so shallow breathing, like breathing like this, or nervous breathing, makes it harder for your heart to fill with blood. So a lot of cool things going on, a lot of fun things to learn about how you can help your heart just with simple focus on your breath, noticing how it's moving while you're breathing, or the fact that your heart is actually suspended from your spine and your sternum, which means if you have bad posture or if you're slouched, your heart is going to drop down. So when we touch our sternum for the moment here, and just imagine behind your sternum, there's ligaments suspending your heart. And they're called pericardiosternal ligaments. They're literally right behind here. You're very close to them if you have your hand in your sternum. So if you lift your sternum up, you're pulling your heart up. Yeah? There we go. So lift your heart by lifting your sternum. And if you're inhaling at the same time, you're giving your heart a nice stretch because the heart is going down because of the inhalation, yet you're stretching it up. So we're doing heart stretching. And your heart likes that because obviously stretching, contracting increases the blood flow to the heart, nourishes your heart. You're nourishing your heart. And there's also ligaments here to the spine. So if you have a forward head or drop like that, you notice your heart drops down right away. There's more pressure on your heart. Not such a good thing. So everyone, hold your neck, please, if you're participating, and just lift your neck and feel how that's lifting your heart. So your whole spinal posture and your heart are very, very related. So just think about that. Spine, sternum connects to the heart, to the pericardium around your heart, connects to the diaphragm, and of course the diaphragm once again has connections to the organs down here, so it's a whole column of structures. So after you did that, after you did the heart movement and you did the sternal lift and the cervical spine lift, you're going to notice there's more space for your heart. So for those of you who joined in, we're talking about my new online course on the heart, first one I've done on an organ, and why I think it's so important. Well, I was always wondering why people, will agree that the heart is really important for their life, for their emotions, for their health, but you ask them, okay, can you show me where your heart is located? They'll have kind of a general idea. How does it move when you breathe? How does it move when you're doing your exercises? Most people have very little idea. So, usually when we think of joints, we think of, the hip joint or the knee, but actually there are plenty of joints between organs. So here you see the heart, once again, on the diaphragm, and you can also see that right next to it, right there, are the lungs. And the lungs and the heart actually have to be able to slide and move relative to each other. Otherwise, your lungs couldn't move and your heart couldn't move. And if you don't move enough and you're not moving with enough awareness, you can get adhesions, stuck places between these different structures surrounding the heart, the pericardium, and also the pleura surrounding the lung. So right in this area, it's called the mediastinum, which means standing in the middle part of the pleura, the sac around the heart. So my favorite exercise for that, or actually I have a whole lot, which I'll show you in the online course, is you put one hand on your heart, and then the other hand you're going to put on your lung here. And just for a moment, as you bring your shoulder front and back, just imagine the lung kind of swinging around your heart like that. If you want to think of your heart going back while your lung goes forward, and thinking of the heart going forward as your lung goes back, that's going to help. So you can literally think of a ball and socket joint. So here we go, ball and socket joint. It's going front and back. And then you can also reach forward like that and just reach back and just feel, imagine your heart kind of moving counter to your lungs swinging around your heart. And this will help free up the motions there, and that's going to also make it easier for your heart to beat. So your heart beats over 100,000 times a day, and if that's just a little easier, a little smoother, it's going to make your life a lot more fun. And of course we can also reach up and reach down and imagine the lung sliding over the heart like that. There we go. Good. And then we're going to notice any changes on that side compared to the other side. Probably a little bit easier to breathe, a little bit more relaxed on this side. Now, of course, let's do the other side. So we're practicing with the joints between the heart and the lung. So organs have joints, And it's very important to keep these mobile. If you don't move, you get adhesions, you get places that are stuck. So this is another picture, more anatomical. So you can see the pleura, the lung's been taken away, and you see these sliding surfaces here. Here you have the pleura and the pericardium, and these need to have movement. Very important. Actually, what I say, also in the course I explain this, the largest joint in your body is literally the lung here, moving inside the thorax and around the heart. So we are first reaching forward and imagining the lung sliding, moving around the heart. It's going to work even better if you imagine your heart moving in the opposite direction, like this. And if you, of course, want to know a whole lot more, because this heart course several hours long, and we build our knowledge and embodiment of the heart from ground up, so step-by-step program, then you can register right now, and I believe you get a rebate of $25. And we are imagining the lung swinging around the heart like this, up and down. So just go to franklinmethod.com if you want to know more about how to have a happy and healthy heart through heart movement, through heart embodiment, through visualizing how your heart moves. Now, another thing, a lot of people think heart beats kind of like that, but that's not really true. The heart muscles are spiraled. So there's layers of spirals in there. And this drawing here starts in black and white. You can kind of see the spiral of the heart muscles. And I put this picture here next to it of water vortices and how they flow. And you can see that similarity there. This is an actual picture of the bottom here of the heart. And you can see the vortices like water, swirling water right there in the heart muscle. So quite fascinating. So your heart doesn't just pump like that. It has two layers of muscles that are counter-rotating, spiraling like this. So we're going to learn about these structures, imagine them. You'll notice it's going to be easier to breathe, move. You're going to take a lot of stress out of your system through these heart exercises. You're going to feel great after you're doing this. So you're going to feel your posture improve, your shoulders relax, feel more comfortable in your whole body. So, my name is Eric Franklin, and I'm talking about my new online course on the heart, and I hope you're enjoying the experiences we're having. I'll finish up with one more exercise, and you can register for the course anytime with the code HEARTLIVE and get a rebate as well. We think we think in our head and all our thoughts are coming from up here, but actually, very interesting, research has shown that it also goes the other way. So you also have your heart, and by the way, also your gut down here, the enteric nervous system, but also the brain of the heart very much influencing what's going on up here in your head. You literally have a spinal cord, a miniature spinal cord in your heart. So here we see a picture of the heart nervous system right in there. Yeah, it's quite complex. And so this area here, your heart, the state of your heart is going to influence how you feel up there. So after the exercises we do, you're going to notice you're going to feel more comfortable in your thinking. You're going to be happier, more confident. It's going to have a great influence also on your emotional state. And so yes, we're going to finish up with one more exercise. Let me see here how much time has passed. And then we're going to do what's called heart lifting. Yeah? So here we are. Here's your heart. And of course, as soon as you slouch like this, you're going to notice your mood slouches as well. So a great thing you can do is to lift your heart. And the way we do it is we take our hands like this here in front of our heart, and just imagine your heart floating up between the lungs as you take your arms up like that. We're just going to repeat that movement. So here we go. Yes, hello to all of you, and you please ask questions if you have any questions before we finish. Yes, exactly. Of course, this is an online course, and it's a recorded course. So we're currently imagining our heart lifting up, sliding up, floating up between our lungs. And by the way, you can use a metaphor or an analogy. Imagine your heart floating up like a balloon. So sense of lightness in there. You know, we have that expression, you know, having a heavy heart, and actually what we're doing right now is doing the opposite, having a light heart. So it's kind of interesting that we have that expression, heavy heart, you know, but light heart, you know. Lightheartedness is what we should really focus on. So you're visualizing that lightheartedness, imagine the heart going up. Any more questions here? Yes, hello to you all. Hi, Vicky. Yes, and good. So yeah, I wish I could do a whole lot more with you. It's so much fun, but I think you're going to have to go to the online course. Yeah, so let's just reach forward. Imagine our lungs swinging around our heart like that, and then reach back, heart forward, lungs back, and just imagine that fluid motion of your lungs around your heart as you do this. Big, enormous joints, as I said, biggest joints in the body, right there in your thorax. So instead of always thinking of our spine flexing and the muscle stretching, you know, and why not thinking about these enormous joints in here? It's like we're always focusing on that periphery and not on the inside when we move. So heart forward, lungs back, heart back, lungs forward. Exactly. There we go. And swinging your lungs around your heart. So lots and lots of great experiences for you. I'll lead you through those step by step in this online course. And once again, last chance to, you know, register for it right now, and you get $25 off. So there we go. And of course, if you're watching, have a wonderful Thanksgiving, great holiday, and hopefully see you again soon at another Facebook Live event. And bye-bye, have a wonderful evening or morning or afternoon, wherever you are. Okay, great hanging out. Bye-bye.